Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So what we're going to do is solve this quadratic equation. I took the liberty of skipping ahead to example 4, mainly because it's going to give us a little bit more complex of a problem because my a value is not going to be 1. So I'm going to start by writing it down on my notebook, and then I will transform it down so that you can see what we do to solve it. So once again, here I have my quadratic equation, and this is going to be equal to 0. And so I have 7x squared minus 19x plus 10 equals 0. We start by identifying our a, b, and c. So off to the side, a, b, c. My a value is going to be 7. My b value is negative 19, and my c value is a positive 10. Once again, don't forget to respect the signs, put the signs along with it. And now we're going to plug all of this into our table or our chart and our X. So again, label everything. Remember, the first side is M, and we use that to multiply A times C. My A value is 7. My C value is positive 10. 7 times 10 gives me a positive 70. My A I get from B, and my B is negative 19. I'm going to start by putting those values already over here. So this is my A times C value, and this is my B value. So I'm supposed to have a negative 19. Don't you fall. And up here I have positive 70. What we learned from our previous video is if I have a positive M value or AC, then that means that both of my factors should have the same sign. And how do I determine what that sign should be? I look at the B value, which is a negative. So when I do all of my factors, we're going to always start with the easy one and go in order so you know if you're missing something. So 1 times 70, but it's not positive. It'll be negative 1, negative 70. We're also going to have 2 and 35, negative, negative. And again, you're thinking negative, negative because a negative times a negative is positive. But when I add negative 2 plus a negative 35, I'm going to wind up with a negative answer, which is exactly what I want to find. We're going to continue on through this process to see if we can figure out what values multiply and give me 70 and add and give me 19. 3 does not divide into 70 evenly. 4 does not divide into 70 evenly, but 5 does. So I have 5 times 14. 6 does not go into 70 evenly. 7 does. 8 does not go into 70 evenly. 9 does not go into 70 evenly. 10 is already here, so we have all of our factors. This is the reason why we want to go in order, is because if I'm going over 1, 2, 3 is not there, 4 is not there, 5, 6 is not there, 7, 8, 9, 10 is here, I have all of my factors all in one space. Go in order. It makes life easier. So now we're going to add these two and see which one of these gives me a negative 19. So I have a negative 71. I have a negative 37. This is a negative 19. This is a negative 17. The one that I'm going to use is this group, this pairing, because it gives me the negative 19. So over here in my X, I put a negative 5 and I put a negative 14. Now what it said in our notes that we were going to do when we had a problem like this is we divide both of these values by the A from our ABC. So I divide by 7, I divide by 7. When I do that, I'm going to reduce if possible or divide evenly. 5 does not divide into 7, but 14 divided by 7 gives me a negative 2. So when I write this into factored form, I'm going to take the number in my denominator and it's going to move to the front of my factor. So this is going to become a 7x minus 5. And this moves in the front. So 1x, or just x, minus 2. And of course equals 0. These are my two factors. So if I multiply this, I'm going to come back up with this as my quadratic equation. I can check. 7x times x is 7x to the second power. Negative 5 times negative 2 gives me a positive 10. And 7 times 2 is 14. 5 times 1 gives me a negative 5. 14 plus 5 gives me a negative 19. So we must have factored that properly. Okay, we'll do one more example and then you do the rest by yourself.